him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-ma-gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And the members of Judas Priest spent a considerable amount of time refining their albums until they finally satisfied with the results. Despite this, not everything will work the way they intended it to. Some albums will be misunderstood or won't attract the attention they expected. Speaking to the Classic Metal Show, drummer Scott Travis recalls the failure of Judas Priest's 2008 double album, Nostradamus, stating he doesn't think it was the Priest's strongest release. That's what he said. And he said it was meant to be something that maybe could have turned into some kind of theater show or could have gone on to be a bigger production. I'm not really sure. I just remember hearing the talk about the idea initially to do an album based around Nostradamus' life and things like that. Further, Travis noted that the album was made during turbulent times in the Priest, which ultimately led to the departure of K.K. Downing, followed by Glenn Tipton a few years later. He said, thinking back on it, it was also near the end of the KK-Glenn relationship. Do you know what I mean? Because they were still in the band, but there was a lot of fracture there. And again, I witnessed all of it, and I could tell things probably weren't going to last. I didn't know what would happen or if KK would actually leave the band. I certainly didn't predict that. But I could just tell you that they weren't getting along and everybody as a group was kind of just spreading out and living in different parts of the world. And there you go, a little insight on the end of Judas Priest, because that's what it is to me. The end of Judas Priest. No KK, no Glenn. I mean, they are as important as the shorts that Angus Young wears. You know what I'm saying? But I'll get into that in a second. I want to talk about Nostradamus, where you either love it or you hate it. Maybe there's some in between people, but I happen to love it. I absolutely love Nostradamus. Now, honestly, the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, let it sink in. And I did. I let it sink in. And in the end, I think it's a great album. It's a really great album. No, it's not one of their greatest albums. You know, I would put something like Angel Retribution above it. Hell, I'd probably even put Firepower. I like Firepower a lot, but listening to it the other day, I used to think it was better than Angel Retribution, but no, it's not. But it's a good album. It's a really good album, even though there's no Glenn or KK. Yes, I know Glenn played on it, but I don't know about that. And I don't know if he played on Invincible Shield either. But yeah, now with Invincible Shield, I'm kind of like, it's not that it's a bad album. There's some solid tracks and stuff, but man, it just doesn't have that vibe, that magical feeling that Judas Priest had during the KK stuff, man. You know? And there's a lot of good songs on Nostradamus that showcase them both, like Persecution was a good one, and the song Nostradamus, Future of Mankind is awesome. A lot of cool songs on that album, man. Death, Prophecy, you know? A lot of great playing from Glenn and KK. And that's Judas Priest, man. It's just painfully bad that they're still out there without those two members. You know, I mean, I can understand Glenn, but the KK thing, man, it just sounds like both sides are kind of like, you know, unlike Sebastian Bach begging to be in Skid Row, KK like brings up, yeah, you know, they should bring me back, but then they get invited to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's kind of standoffish to everybody, except for Faulkner, because I bet Faulkner, you know, went up to him. You know, I don't think the other band members did, or maybe they did. I don't know. All I know is that on both sides, KK said bad stuff about the manager, Jane, that you don't do that, man, and get welcome back. I think that's the main reason Judas Priest did not bring KK back, because of the manager. That's how I feel, you know. And KK ain't making it easier either, you know. I would love to see KK up there with Faulkner. That would be great, you know. That would be a little more like Priest, you know. Nothing against Andy Sneap, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. It's not Judas Priest to me. It's not the Judas Priest I woke up on. And yeah, I'm yelling at a cloud and get off my lawn. I know I'm an old dude, man. I was raised by Judas Priest. I was raised to go see Judas Priest live and see KK and Glenn center stage doing the beginning of Victim of the Changes, man. Shit like that. When you go see Judas Priest now, which I call Rob Halford and Friends, featuring Ian Hill, you know, the only real original member. But I judge original members by the first album. I know a lot of people don't, but the first album has the original members, and it's only Rob and Ian left. And it's sad, man. It breaks my heart that this once great band is going out there and I guess it could be worse, because they're still not bad live. They're still good live. I mean, it's not the Mighty Priest of Defenders of the Faith era. I mean, I've seen Priest many times with KK, and they were all awesome with Rob after Angel Retribution, after the reunion. But it still didn't have that power that they had in the, you know, I saw Screaming and Defenders, those especially. Those two especially. But man, Ram It Down was a great show. Turbo was even a great show. And Painkiller 2. That's where it kind of ended, you know, like, you know, the Ripper stuff was amazing. You know, I saw that tour twice. Those were amazing. That was closer to the 80s stuff than how Judas Priest is now. But it's not bad now. I'm not saying they're bad live. They are great live, but like every single band I can think of, I don't care how good they are live today, it's not the fire of the 80s. And you got to also remember the times. The times were so different then that it made it more special, you know? And you look back now, and with the internet and all this information thrown at you, and armchair critics out there like myself, you know, reviewing stuff and bashing stuff and loving stuff, and it's just over and over, oversaturation that it ain't like it was in the 80s, man. Back then we weren't oversaturated. You know, information hitting us at all angles. You know, we had to go out, you know, and buy a book or magazines or whatever, you know, to find out information, or watch the news, you know. But news wasn't 24 hours back then. Oh, I could go on and on. We live in a different planet today. And in this planet, we have bands out there that are not like they were in the 80s, because Judas Priest, the main reason is because Glenn and KK ain't there. Those two are the most important, along with Halford. I'm not going to, you know, dismiss Halford. And yeah, you know, Les Bing, Scott Travis. I even love Dave Holland, man. I loved all those drummers. But the focal point is those three, and those three were the ones that wrote the songs. It was Halford, Downey, and Tipton. So, yeah, it's done. It's over, Johnny. You know, Judas Priest is gone, but we have, you know, like little pieces of it going out there calling themselves Judas Priest. And it's cool that they throw out gems now that they haven't played since the 70s. There's songs they played that, you know, Saints in Hell wasn't even played in the 70s. You know, and they play shit like that. And I saw them play for the first time, Take These Chains Off. Was that the last time I saw Judas Priest? I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Now I think about it, Judas Priest didn't come down here for Invincible Shield. What a bummer. I would have went. I'll still go see Judas Priest, but I'm not going there expecting Judas Priest. Now it's just Judas Priest. You know? That's how I feel. But I'm an old man, and every band out there that's been around for decades, I feel the same way for. You know, I paid, what, $12 or less to see these bands back in the 80s, and now you can't even fucking park for $12. You got to spend more than that. I know the one here in Fort Lauderdale, it was no lie, $50 to park in the parking lot. $50. Yeah, that's why the 80s were better, man. Anyway, yeah, I thought I'd throw in a little insight for Judas Priest because it is news that matters. And thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell and like the video. And leave your comments below of what you feel about Nostradamus, what you feel about the breakup, what you feel about Judas Priest, period. And schmack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.